Okay, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Can you hear me? Yes? Yes? I want to welcome everyone to the video session today for Women in Philanthropy. We started our season this year with 47 grant requests. We were able to get that down to 20 site visits, and congratulations, you are the 15 that will be on the ballot. The ballot will be sent to our general membership for voting, and those of you who get the highest of the scores will be the ones that will actually be funded. Our voting process will begin, and ballots are due back in on March the 1st. By March the 7th, you have received a phone call to tell you whether or not you have been funded. If you have been funded, then you will come to our luncheon on March the 22nd. What I will do today is introduce each of your organizations, who's representing you, and the amount that you requested. I asked, when I called you, you have 3 minutes. I have one of our WHIP members in the back, Julie Badger, and she will put up a red folder. When you see that red folder, end your sentence, and I'm sorry, you're done. If you didn't get it all in, we just didn't get it all in. But we have to be very respectful because we have more on the ballot this year than we ever have. We've had more grant requests than we ever have, but we have more money to give away than we ever have. So that's very exciting for us. These are in no specific order. So once you have done your presentation, if you would like to leave, you're welcome to do that. If you would like to stay and listen to everyone else's presentation, you're welcome to do that also. So first up, Communities in Schools. Lori Cook, her project name is Helping Hand Services, and you have requested $15,525. You're up.
All righty. My name is Lori Cook. I'm the Executive Director for Communities in Schools here in Augusta. And first of all, thank you, Women in Philanthropy, for providing this opportunity. So what is Communities in Schools? Our mission is to surround students with a community of support so that they can be successful and achieve in life. We believe that education is one of the biggest keys to breaking the poverty cycle. However, you may wonder, does Augusta have a problem? Well, according to a recent United Way study, 54% of the children in Richmond County come from poverty homes. So is poverty really a problem? Well, yes, poverty equates into lower academic scores, more absenteeism, higher teen pregnancy, higher dropout rates, and the list goes on. 70% of the kids who don't graduate from high school are going to either end up in jail or end up on some government assistance program. And those are national stats. Augusta's not alone in that. So let's drill down any further. Is there a strong indicator, a predictor of dropouts? Well, yes, there is. If a child cannot read by the end of the 3rd grade, they are set up for failure. Children learn to read through 3rd grade. After 3rd grade, they have to be able to read to learn. All of our coursework and everything is set up that way. So a child that's not reading is going to fail in school, chances are. Okay. So how does Communities in Schools address the problem? We work in schools during the school day at the invitation of principals and the superintendent. We're a partner, we're a collaborator. We facilitate other organizations coming into the school and offering services maybe that school does not have access to. We also do something that's called wraparound supports or integrated supports, which is kind of confusing, but some of our children, when they come to school, they have a lot of baggage they carry with them. For instance, how can you learn if you're hungry? Well, how can you read a book if you can't see? What if you smell so bad nobody wants to sit next to you? So we take those non-academic needs and we try to find solutions for them. So we get lots of glasses for kids, we get food to a home immediately, but then we reach out to our church partners and other people in the community to provide the care longer term. We also provide a lot of tutoring, mentoring, math remediation, and that sort of thing, in addition to the wraparound supports. We also do a lot of enrichment, and Grace is here today. We do robotics, and that's always been very exciting. So what do we want to do with this grant from Women in Philanthropy? We have a, oh no. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, our next presenter is Jennifer Pennington with the Judd C. Hickey Center for Alzheimer's Care. Their project is Financial Assistance Program, and their request is $10,000.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Pennington, and I'd just like to thank you for the work that you do for the community to Women in Philanthropy and the opportunity to talk about the Judd C. Hickey Center for Alzheimer's Care. We're asking the Women in Philanthropy to fund a $10,000 grant that will go to provide scholarships to attend the center. Sadly, Alzheimer's disease is affecting more and more people every day. If you've ever been a caregiver, you know the sadness, the anger, and the exhaustion that comes with the diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. So how does the Judd C. Hickey Center help? So when we get a call from a caregiver inquiring about the center, there's some common emotions that we see from every caller. You feel anger. You're angry your loved one has Alzheimer's and it makes you so mad. You don't know where to turn. Finding resources has been hard. And you may be angry for others in your family that aren't helping. You feel exhaustion. Your loved one can't drive anymore. You're responsible for them making sure they eat healthy. They're not eating junk food. They're getting off the couch and exercising. They're going to doctor's appointments, hair appointments, so much more. You feel guilt. You're calling a daycare, and you feel so guilty even thinking about dropping your loved one off at a daycare just so you can have a break. And you're so sad. You're losing a friend, a spouse, someone you talk to all the time, the person that you confide in. It's the person you love. And it's happening to families all over. The number of individuals diagnosed is expected to rise by 35% by 2025. So the Judd C. Hickey Center for Alzheimer's Care is the only place in this area that is just for dementia, a dementia-specific daycare. And the first step for the caregiver and the individual is to visit the center. And everything changes the minute they walk in that door. It isn't at all what they expected. Everyone is active and laughing and busy with a variety of programming, and that guilt starts to fade. The Judd C. Hickey Center is there to walk alongside with families through this journey. So what goes on during the day? You start out, we have coffees, newspaper, conversation, and after our announcements, we have a number of options throughout the day. We have many types of exercise like Tai Chi, non-contact boxing, Zumba. You get the benefits of music through singing, dancing, or just listening to your favorite playlist. You're cognitively stimulated. Just because your brain isn't working right doesn't mean that you don't want to learn or be challenged. There's conversations, there's lectures, there's volunteer projects, there's art expression and games. You're eating healthy meals by a certified nutritionist. You have friends, you feel love, and you laugh. Every day is different and filled with meaning and purpose. So the center provides stimulating programming and excellent care with staff that are nurses or CNAs and experts in dementia care. So what are the results? Recently, a caregiver, her name is Gwen, shared with me how much the center meant to her. She said a year ago, she and her family, they were at odds, they were fighting. Her mother was there depressed. She just didn't want to do anything. She found the center, and all of a sudden, everything changed. So, wow, this goes by so fast. Thank you so much for considering a sponsorship or a gift for scholarships for the Judd C. Hickey Center. Thank you.
Next, we have Carrie Viola Brook with the Child Enrichment. Their project is Darkness to Light Prevention and Safety Training, and they are requesting $10,800. Talk fast.
Thank you. I'm Carrie Viola Brook, the new Executive Director at Child Enrichment. So at Child Enrichment, our mission is to provide help, hope, and healing to children and families in our community that have experienced abuse and neglect. I've been with Child Enrichment for about 7 years now, and I've worked a lot of direct service with families after they've been abused. And what I really wanted to do is, I wish that I didn't have to have a job. I wish that children were not getting abused in our community, but unfortunately they are. 1 in 10 children will be sexually abused by the time they turn 18. Right now we have 42 million survivors of child sexual abuse in the United States. And last year, Child Enrichment served 1,061 kids in our community. But prevention is possible. So what we're asking for with this funding is to be able to train 2 staff to become Darkness to Light facilitators. Darkness to Light is a prevention model created out of Charleston, South Carolina. And we would also use this funding to buy the materials to train 1,000 adults in our community. What the training would include is a 2.5-hour training on child abuse prevention. What we would do is 5 steps. We would train adults on how to learn the facts about abuse. Step 2, how to minimize opportunities. Step 3, how to talk about abuse, how to teach children about body safety, how to teach them if they feel uncomfortable to say something and to get out of that situation. We would teach adults how to recognize the signs of abuse, to recognize the behaviors that a child may have when they have been abused. And then finally, we would teach adults how to react responsibly, how to be these heroes for children and make a report. Right now, people do not know what to do if they suspect abuse. So with this funding, we would be able to train not only 1,000 people, but in return, those people would be able to protect hundreds of thousands of kids in our community and teach other adults these models. So I want to thank Women in Philanthropy for providing us this opportunity to even be considered. And please help us protect the kids in our community, because they're going to be the future for us tomorrow.
Okay, next we have Grace Belangia with the Clubhouse. Their project is Wonder Woman of Augusta. They're teaching technology. Their request is $30,000.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Grace Belangia. Members of Women in Philanthropy, thank you for the opportunity to share our story about the Clubhouse. I'm the executive director and one of the founding members. I have spent most of my adult life and career helping the community and have used technology to build my business, to help start a nonprofit, and to engage the next generation to be relevant and resourceful in a booming digital economy. If those of you that don't know, the Clubhouse was started by 6 people in 2012. We've grown from a small storefront on Broad Street to an enterprise of 3 locations serving 2 states and 7 counties in the region. Our mission is to connect leaders and learners in technology, business, and design. Our community partners mostly support us in STEM education, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math, as well as entrepreneurship and encouragement of economic independence. We believe that breaking the cycle of poverty with education and a community of supporters to help spawn innovation and resources and opportunities for everyone. Our education platform provides chances for citizens to create technology and not just to consume it, to really understand the role that computers and design play in their daily lives, and to harness the knowledge to secure their digital footprint. The project that we're seeking support for is called Wonder Woman, and what we want to do is we want to give middle school girls the skills and the creative freedom to not only build robots, but also to learn to code, to design with 3D printers, and to improve their knowledge of science and math as career and college possibilities. I brought some samples that I wanted to show really quickly, and so I don't know, Mark, if you can zoom in on those, but these are things that were made by our members. For those of you that were asking, this is the 3D printed cello. It's by one of our student members that we displayed last year at Arts and Heart. This was a beehive project that we did for Harvest Bites a few years ago, 3D printed. This is a prototype of a small building that was a Langley Pond site, and then these are the robotics program that you can see that we'll be talking about more. So these are examples of things that the girls might be able to create in this program. Concurrently, also, their mothers would be engaged in this program in a positive parenting technique workshop because the parents would be bringing the children to these workshops. They'd become more proficient in protecting their children from cyberbullying. They'll be learning social media etiquette, and they'll be learning educational resources for homework and teaching purposes. Your grant would help underwrite the cost of this 6-month program that mimics the school year calendar. There will be no charge for middle school students or mothers to participate. The cost would be covered, the materials, supplies, instructors, and equipment. The applications would be launched this summer, and it would mimic the school year, having a program in the fall as well as the spring. Thank you for your consideration, and I hope you'll support the Wonder Woman Project, powered by the Clubhouse and supported by many in Augusta. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Jamie Reedy with the Fort Gordon Christmas House. Their project is Fort Gordon Christmas House books and board games. Their request is $2,000.
Hi, my name is Jamie Reedy. I'm a volunteer for Fort Gordon Christmas House. The mission of Fort Gordon Christmas House is giving joy and new toys to our military families. We are a 100% volunteer-run organization with no paid staff or employees. For 52 years, Fort Gordon Christmas House has provided local active duty military, regardless of their religious background or beliefs, who are experiencing financial need during the holiday season, the opportunity to receive assistance. 100% of our clients are young military families, some of whom qualify and use Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program and also other assistance programs. We're requesting $2,000 for our books and board games project, or the purchase of 700 books and 300 board games to distribute to our clients. The Books and Board Games project is a targeted effort to put a book in every child's hand and a board game to every family, with the goal of strengthening family bonds while at the same time encouraging literacy and promoting family time through reading together and gameplay. This project addresses the unique challenges facing military families who experience family separations created by military duty away from Fort Gordon for a temporary or extended period of time. These families want and need ways to connect and reconnect during these periods, and books and board games are a simple but effective way to make these connections. In 2018, Fort Gordon Christmas House assisted 326 local military families and over 700 children. This represents a 28% increase in the number of children we assisted in the previous year. And in 2019, we look to serve more with the growth of Fort Gordon. So the need is great, and it is growing. Certainly, we're so grateful to the Women in Philanthropy for this opportunity, and on behalf of all the volunteers at Fort Gordon Christmas House and our military families, thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, Lisa Tyndall with Mental Health America Aiken County Nurture Home. Their project is Mothers and Children Thriving, and they have requested $19,250.
Thank you for the opportunity to be with y'all this afternoon. It's gorgeous outside, and it's nice to be in this group again, so thank you for your time. Mothers and Children Thriving is a project that came with an awareness recently. Nurture Home has been known for a long time for restoring hope to women who are homeless and who come to our transitional shelter as a result of domestic violence, as struggles with addiction, generational cycles of poverty. We began to look closely at how children were affected by their homelessness. When children come to Nurture Home, they come with labels. They come with labels like victim of abuse, witness to domestic violence, helpless, truant student, unable to learn, hyperactive, won't settle down, quiet, or maybe withdrawn. We started looking really closely using our tool that we use to assess the mothers at the changes right in front of us that were happening with the children. And the staff that we have in place said, well, let me develop a plan to track this. That correlated with a grant from the Kistner Foundation called Thriving Children. And we said, we've got to build on this. We've got to increase our outputs. We've got to really take advantage of the whole family approach. So that's what we began to do. And what we're looking at is what we're really changing children, building resilience and changing their lives, not just their mothers. Since 2015, the past 3 years, we've been doing this work since 2009. But if you just look at a 3-year time frame, we've served 78 children. 10 children called Nurture Home, their first home, with their moms having them while they lived there. 25 of those children had active DSS involvement due to neglect and concerns over truancy and other things. So what we recognized is that we've impacted many, many lives of children. Currently, we have 6 children in Nurture Home, and they age range from age 5 up to 13. And we're doing something really special. We have a grandmother at Nurture Home who, for the first time, her 2-year-old is able to have a sleepover. So what we're doing is we're really building the abilities in mothers to see the changes in their children. But it's more than seeing the changes, it's seeing their part in it. This grant will support our staff, but will also give us the capacity to really educate our community about how we're helping children, hoping to add a staff position by fall, specifically to child advocacy. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Carolyn Moore with the Mosaic Center. Her project is Women of Worth, and their request is $9,750.
I'm Carolyn Moore with the Mosaic Center. Every woman in this room is able to power what the Mosaic Center is trying to do through Women of Worth. Do you remember that line in the movie called The Help where Aibileen would speak to the little girl she took care of? She would say, "You is kind, you is smart, you is important." I think Aibileen was brilliant. She knew that women are better to themselves and they're better to the world around them when they know their worth. And that's the message of Women of Worth. We are putting women who are ready to pay it forward together with women who are ready to move on with their lives, so we can encourage women with the confidence that they are smart, they are ready to move forward, they are worth it. Their future is more important than their past. So take Heather, for instance. Heather was an addict for decades who finally ended up in prison for 18 months. When she came out, she was a changed woman, and she was ready to take responsibility for her life. But nobody hires a felon. So eventually we hired her part-time, and we watched her succeed. And she did, because Heather is smart. She is kind. She's a great worker. And so she went from part-time to full-time, from full-time to being a director of a whole program area. And she got an associate's degree. And then with the help of some women around her, she was encouraged to apply for a program that would allow her to exempt her bachelor's degree and go straight into a master's program. And she got it. Starting this week, she now is part of a master's program at a first-rate school. She's succeeding because a few women in her life helped her believe that her future is more important than her past. Or take Tony, our poster girl for Women of Worth. She has a couple of felonies, a GED, a little boy who's 3 years old, and she's determined to make life happen without public assistance. And so she landed a job in a restaurant, and she began to work hard, and she was recognized by her managers, placed into a leadership development program, and that's when her felony record got up the ladder to the corporate office, and they wanted to fire her. And because Tony, in her life up to that point, had taught her that things didn't work out well for people like her, Tony was ready to walk away. But some women came around her. What Tony needed was not somebody to advocate for her, but somebody to help her advocate for herself, to coach her and teach her how to advocate for herself. And so she walked right back in. She got some managers around her who believed in her, told them to go to bat for her. And she not only kept her job, but she's still in the leadership track. So what Tony needed was somebody to help her believe that her future is more important than her past. When life circumstances steal that message, what an opportunity we have to help women hear again that they are smart, they are worth it, and their future is more important than their past. Thank you for helping us.
Okay, Andrea Patterson with the Boys and Girls Club of the CSRA. Their project is Smart Girls, and their request is $10,000.
As she said, I'm Adrienne. I'm with the Boys and Girls Club. I'm their Chief Development Officer, and I'm honored to be among this group of women today, and thank you, Women in Philanthropy, for the opportunity. I'm so often asked, what does the Boys and Girls Club do? And our mission is that we enable all children, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. But when I talk about it with people, really what I say is what it boils down to is that we exist to fill in the gaps that kids have between their families, between their schools. And one of the most powerful ways that we fill these critical gaps is through our outcomes-driven and research-based programs. The grant request presented to Women in Philanthropy is for one of those programs called Smart Girls. Smart Girls is a key program that's offered to our female members from ages 8 to 18, and it gives girls the space, the support, and the tools they need to navigate adolescence so that they can emerge as strong, healthy women. It includes critical information on emotional and physical changes in their body. We talk about how to live a healthy lifestyle, understanding the influence of mass and social media on the attitudes towards women, developing healthy relationships with peers, with boys, with parents, understanding peer pressure and bullying and how to respond correctly to those, and then sexual health, abstinence, the risk of teen pregnancy, and STDs. And while all of those areas are vital to guiding our young members, it's really the small details and the conversations that happen within that program that have the most impact. The topics I talked about are not foreign to the girls. They hear that on TV and with friends, and at school they know those topics. But what we find is that there are critical gaps that need to be addressed before we can ever dive into those overarching topics. We had a club, and there was a third-grade little girl, and her mom spent a lot of time in and out of prison. She would not be able to pick her up certain days because, again, she'd been arrested mainly for fighting, for petty theft and whatnot. She had to be addressed by our staff for the inappropriate way that she dressed when she came to the club. It was not appropriate for our members to see some of the outfits she was wearing, very provocative and just not appropriate. And so, obviously, the little girl was acting out and imitating and doing these things. And it came one day that a teacher asked her, she said the little girl was sitting in really short shorts and in a modest type way, and the teacher said, now let's sit like a lady. And the little girl said, what does that mean? And we realized, so often we assume that kids know the right way to act, but if they don't ever see the right way, if they're not taught, and it's little right things to do, that they don't know how to act otherwise. But we take the opportunity, and what a great opportunity there, to talk about how their body language and clothing can speak volumes about them before they ever say a word. So we target the girls. We meet twice a week for a semester. We do pre and post tests with them, constantly asking them what they got out of the program, what they need more of, reworking that. And so we're asking Women in Philanthropy to support that program through staffing, program supplies, activities, field trips, and whatnot to reach the little girls in our program. Thank you.
Okay, Beverly Peltier with Augusta Technical Foundation, and I hope I get this right. It's Life Form Infant Auscultation Trainers and Airway Management. Their request is $9,500.
Good afternoon. My name is Beverly Peltier, and I am the director of the Augusta Tech Foundation, and I'm here today to ask for your financial support for the purchase of 3 infant simulators for the Practical Nursing program at Augusta Tech. The Practical Nursing Department is located on 3 of our campuses in Augusta, Thompson, and Waynesboro. Each campus accepts 10 students every August and completes within 12 months. The students endure a rigorous program that will prepare them to sit for the state board exam to become licensed practical nurses. In recent years, practical nursing students have been removed from the hospital setting, making it difficult for educators to find clinical sites that specialize in infant and newborn care. The students' ability to experience infant or newborn care in the clinical setting is very important because they will work in settings where they are responsible for immunizations, measuring growth, and assessing abnormalities. While the program strives to give each student an optimal learning experience, without proper medical clinical sites, we are challenged with finding alternative ways ways of providing this experience. One way to address this challenge is by giving students the possible experience using mannequin simulation. Simulation offers a lifelike experience. It allows students to use all of their senses when performing care on a lifelike mannequin. Providing an experience as close to a human is the key to the students being confident in the care they will provide. One issue we face as educators is that technology comes with price tags and that our budget is not always allowing us to purchase those items. Receiving funding will help us obtain this equipment and will benefit every student that is accepted into the practical nursing program for several years to come. Students will receive experience with newborn and infant care. They'll be able to educate new mothers on the care of their own infants. Most importantly, they'll be able to inform physicians when they diagnose abnormal heart, lung, or bowel sounds. Each student will be afforded confidence in providing care for this special population of students, or patients, excuse me. The LifeForm auscultation trainer, that is a tongue twister, simulates heart, bowel, and lung conditions selected by the instructor using a wireless remote. The student must palpate to identify the correct auscultation sites and will hear the different sounds of the heart, bowel, and lungs on a smart scope, which is moved from point to point on the mannequin. The trainer duplicates human infant conditions as closely as electronic technology allows. These simulators will merge the textbook and hands-on learning in a safe, controlled environment and provide for better trained LPNs in our area. We hope to have your support to purchase one simulator for each of our 3 campuses where we teach practical nursing. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Morgan Tomberlin with the Family YMCA of Greater Augustus Camp Ivy. Their project is Camp Ivy, and they're requesting $20,000.
Thank you very much to the members of Women in Philanthropy for the opportunity to share with you about Camp Ivy. My name is Morgan Tomberlin.
And I'm Sterling Ivy.
And we are here to represent Camp Ivy. Camp Ivy is a one-week overnight camp that serves children with a variety of diverse abilities, including developmental delay, Down syndrome, and children on the autism spectrum. It is hosted at YMCA Camp Lakeside in Lincolnton, Georgia.
So when my youngest daughter was 8, she talked about wanting to go to camp like her older brother and sister. The snag with that was that she was born with developmental delays that has impacted her currently, as she's now 14, but she wanted to go to camp, and so I started to do some research to find a camp where she could go and attend and be like her brother and sister. I had no luck. I talked to doctors and did a little research. I was told there's a camp up in Vermont that I could send her to. Thinking that was a little extreme as far as distance, I did my homework and research and reached out to the Family Y, where we have partnered with them, where we now have Camp Ivy, inspiring very exceptional youth. We are about to embark on year number 4. Our first 3 years were made up of 1-week camp, day camp. This year we're excited to announce that we're going to be a 1-week overnight camp for these children.
So we are asking for $20,000 to cover the cost to our campers to attend camp. So full scholarships for all 30 of our campers that we will serve this year. We'll serve 30 campers for, as Sterling said, 1 week of overnight camp. Campers at Camp Ivy will experience everything that a neurotypical camper would experience at camp. They begin the day with an opening ceremony where they sing songs and do skits. They proceed into activities that are typical of camp: archery, kayaking, hiking, swimming, dance, and creative movement, drama, pottery. It runs the gamut, and we use an integrated therapeutic model where we partner with local professionals in the field to incorporate aspects of therapy into the activities we provide. We operate on a 1-to-1 staff to camper ratio, so all of our campers have a buddy that carries them through the week of camp. All of our campers' buddies are trained through YMCA child care training. They go through a rigorous background check process and trained by professionals in the child care field. We are partners with schools in the local area that specialize in working with campers, children with special needs, and in the occupational therapy field, and they provide our staffing for camp. So the funding from Women in Philanthropy will provide scholarships to all 30 of our campers for a full 1-week overnight camp experience to teach our campers independence, help them build relationships, and give them skills and opportunities to move forward in their lives. Thank you.
Next is Kim Hines with Augusta Locally Grown. Their project is digging deeper in Harrisburg, and their request is $6,400.
Good afternoon. I am Kim Hines, the director of Augusta Locally Grown. We are celebrating our 10th year, last year actually, we still are in celebration, and we are committed to growing a more healthy, more vibrant, more inclusive, more nutrient-dense local food system for our entire community, including you all. In 2012, we were invited into the community of Harrisburg, and in doing so, we have learned a lot in that time period. We started Farmers Market, where we double food stamps. We install gardens at people's homes throughout the community. We teach cooking classes at Icebox Urban Farm. In fact, I'd like to say that we've changed some of the reputation of Harrisburg itself, because people from all over our area now come to Icebox Urban Farm to learn how to grow food. And in doing so, we have also created stipends for people from that community as cooking educators, as growing educators, as farmers market managers, you name it. One of our most successful programs is the Fruit and Vegetable Prescription Program, which will now start its 5th year. And we've learned a ton from that program as well. We've learned how to intervene in people's lives by going to their house and having them come to the cooking class, by picking them up for the farmer's market, by buying a crock pot for someone when they don't have a proper kitchen. We're asking you for support to take this program deeper. Specifically, we have not been successful in reaching young mothers. They're a very difficult population to bring into our fold, and we are ready for that challenge right now. And so what will we do? We are specifically targeting the Lake Olmsted community. We've already made some inroads there, and we very much hope to continue to build on that. We will bring cooking classes to that community in their little center. We're very good at kind of creating cooking classes wherever we go. We will use community partners for transportation to the farmers market, to the clinic, to the cooking classes, which are all part of the Fruit and Vegetable Prescription Program. We will work with St. Luke, United Methodist Church, and other community members to provide childcare, which we've never been able to do before. All of this in an effort to increase nutrient density in people's lives and decrease the food desert that, frankly, we're all living in today. Thank you.
Okay, Lisa Armstrong with Restart Augusta. Their project is building beds, and their request is $10,000.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome, and I have heard some amazing programs. I'm very excited to see how all of this works out. I'd like to thank Women in Philanthropy for inviting us for this opportunity to talk about Restart Augusta. My name is Lisa Armstrong, and I'm one of the many volunteers that works at Restart Augusta. Restart has been in business for about 4 years. We provide beds. We purchase lumber, we build queen and twin-size bed frames, we assemble them, we paint them, and we garner together all the supplies that go with that. We get donations of mattresses and box springs, linens, and all the like to provide a full bed ensemble to those in our community who do not have a bed and do not have the resources to purchase a bed. We have worked with social agencies in the community that provide us with the referrals. On Tuesday mornings, we will get those names, and we will make the deliveries on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday mornings. We have delivered almost 2,000 beds since 2014, and we're very excited about that and plan to have a big celebration. The beds go to women, children, and veterans. Probably 80% of those who receive beds are women and children, and so the impact on the community is great. I can give you and stand up here lots of facts and figures about Restart Augusta. It's a wonderful organization. I've been working with them since they started. But there's nothing like seeing the face of a mother as you bring in the bed, the sigh of relief, the hug of gratitude that you get from them, and the sheer joy of a child's face as you walk in with a bed and they see their bed that they don't have to share with mother and they don't have to share it with sister or brother, and they have a pillow that goes with that. It's just wonderful. So you can go to our website, restartaugusta.org, and you can learn all about that. But if you really want to know the impact on this community, you need to come down and join us. Tuesday mornings from 9 to 12, and then Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday mornings we are doing delivering, and we would love to have you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay, we have Linda Tucciaroni with Augusta Heritage Academy. Their project is Spreading the Hope of Dyslexia. Their request is $20,930.
Heritage Academy is an independent Christian school in urban Augusta, and we've been in existence since 2001. But in 2014, we expanded our outreach to an after-school dyslexia program. A little bit about dyslexia. It's the #1 reading disorder in the United States, with 1 in 6 children being affected by it. It is no respecter of gender, race, ethnicity, poverty level. It affects everyone. If we were to take the 38,000 students that are enrolled in Richmond County schools, over 6,000 students are likely to be affected by dyslexia. But the county, and no county in the CSRA addresses dyslexia. I'm not faulting them. It's pretty expensive to do so. To remediate dyslexia is tedious, specific, and individual. It costs nearly $3,000 just to do the testing to identify a child with dyslexia. If Richmond County were to do that, it would cost them nearly $20 million just to identify dyslexia. It can't be done. So since 2014, thanks in part to a previous grant from Women in Philanthropy, we have been offering a screening test that will identify whether or not a student has dyslexia-like symptoms. And we've been offering 1.5 hours of very targeted intervention for that student. We are proposing with this new program expanding our footprint. We were approached by Macedonia East Baptist Church, East Augusta Baptist Church, which is located opposite Hornsby Elementary. And they've been running an after-school program, and they came to us and asking us how could they be more effective. And we said, well, why don't you bring the dyslexia outreach to your after-school program? And so this grant request of a little over $20,000 will be leveraged into nearly $180,000 market value worth of services to the children that will be served through that after-school program. The request is for a Barton certified practitioner to oversee the program, to pay for tutors and the materials, and the additional benefit at this program will be that instead of getting 1.5 hours of tutoring a week, we will more than double that for the children. Hornsby is one of the worst performing schools in the state, and the children there would never be able to get to our after-school program. Children are in public housing. So we are really excited about the opportunity that this grant offers in expanding the outreach of this significant program. Thank you.
Getting close. Pam Rascon with Golden Harvest Food Bank. Their project is Senior Food Box Program. Their request is $14,400.
Thank you.
I'm Pamela Raskine, Director of Community Partnerships with Golden Harvest, and we service 30 counties in Georgia and South Carolina. And in those counties, I'd like to share with you that the USDA reports that over 200,000 people are hungry. They struggle with hunger daily. And many of those people are seniors, senior women in particular. And the U.S. Census shares with us that 10.1% of the population are seniors in Burke, Columbia, Richmond, and McDuffie counties. And we are pleased to share that of those people, 4,700, we are able to share that live on $1,000. They struggle to make ends meet. Not pleased to share, but that's poverty. They're living at poverty level and below. Now, we have a senior food box program that we're able to help meet the needs of these people. We are servicing about 600 of these seniors with our senior food box program, and the grant that we're requesting is to be able to add another 80 people to the senior food box program. And this senior food box provides 13 meals to these seniors. And these meals are guided by an AU health educator, balanced meals. Each meal is about 1.2 pounds of food, and they're nutritious and delicious, and they are easy to prepare, shelf-stable meals. And they come at the end of the month when money is tight, when the senior is having to make the choice between, do I pay my utility bill or do I buy medicine? Do I pay my rent or do I buy food? And so with this grant, we're hoping that we can add, we can't feed everyone, but we're hoping that we can add an additional 80 people to that list and help mitigate the need to make that tough choice at the end of that month. I heard a common thread in many of these presentations, and that's hunger. And hunger is hard. And partnering with wonderful organizations like you, maybe we can help meet the need for many others. Thank you.
Last but not least, Ron Skeens with Christ Community Health Services Augusta. Their project is medical and dental care for women and children in shelters or transitional centers. Their request is $25,000.
I'll be brief. Good afternoon. I'm Ron Skeens with Christ Community Health Services. I want to thank all the members of Women in Philanthropy for your past generous support and the chance to be here today. We have amazing medical services in the Augusta community. Unfortunately, many of our neighbors have limited access to those resources, and that's where Christ Community Health comes in. We operate 2 clinics here in downtown Augusta, and since we opened in November of 2007, we've grown from a staff of 4 in one location to 90 people at our 2 clinics. Last year, we logged more than 28,000 patient encounters for over 7,000 individuals. 3,400 of those were women, and about 1,100 were children. Many of our patients have no insurance, and those patients are charged on a sliding fee scale based on their income. We're asking for your support today to help Christ Community Health provide basic medical and dental care at no charge to women and children living in shelters such as Safe Homes Domestic Violence Center and other transitional housing centers. These women and children seeking refuge in these shelters often arrive with many unmet basic needs. It's common for these families to be without medical insurance. They face multiple challenges already. Finding medical and dental care does not need to be one of those challenges. Christ Community offers a safe, confidential, efficient care to these families. Funds from this grant, if awarded, will be put to work immediately to underwrite the cost of this basic medical and dental care for these women and children. In addition to the regular exams and checkups, some of the other services it will fund will include cervical cancer screenings, diagnostic labs and blood work, immunizations for the children, and behavioral health care for the children. While Safe Homes of Augusta is our primary partner for this project, we also accept patients from Hope House, the Salvation Army of Hope, and other agencies here in our community. These funds will help us provide important medical and dental care that they might otherwise choose to delay or skip altogether, so they can focus on the challenge of moving ahead, knowing that their basic medical and dental needs will be met. So thank you again for your past support, for the chance to be here today, and for all that you're doing in our community. Thank you.
Well, thank everybody for all your presentations today, and our entire membership will look at these videos. So they will see what you had to say and get a real feel for what your nonprofit really does. Again, congratulations, because I think it's wonderful to get to this point. It's always exciting. If you have any questions or concerns, you're welcome to call, Women in Philanthropy. I think my phone number, so I think all of you have the phone number because I called you all. But you're welcome to get in touch with me if need be. We will be back in touch as soon as our voting and all has taken place. Our committee spent so many hours going through this, 2 hours at the time. We did that through November and December, and then site visits in January. So know that you were among a large group of well-deserving nonprofits, and that we found that yours to be what really met the mission for Women in Philanthropy. So again, I want to thank you for being here, sharing your time, doing your video, and we look forward to seeing who we're going to be able to fund. Thank you again. Have a good evening.